Hi everyone, welcome to the Word movie. So we're going to do a Word project here. This is where our themed projects for homework will kind of be based off of. So as you saw with the PowerPoint show, you're going to make a fake company, and we're going to do an expansion report, an investor profile, which is the PowerPoint that you've seen, and a Excel spreadsheet. So just to familiarize a little bit with Word, here are your tabs: Home, Insert, Design, Layout, References, Mailings, Review, and View. Just to clear up a few things, you want to make sure that you have your navigation pane up and your rulers visible. To do that, you go to View, and you just check these off right here, just so we can see everything. So my screen matches yours as you go through. You are welcome to do the example with me, or you can build your homework assignment right along a video with your own material. That's entirely up to you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert a cover page, which is a little different than a title page. Typically title pages are ones that you just type up, but a cover page generally has an image to it. So we'll go to the Insert tab over here in the Pages section. Here's Cover Page, and we are going to choose, let's see here, Slice Dark. And there we are. And we'll scroll down here to the document title. Since I'm doing a snack food company for my example, I'm going to put that title in there. I'm going to type in, I'm going to hit enter. And that takes us down to another line there. And for the subtitle, we're going to do 2016. All right. So we're going to go down to our next page here, and we're going to insert an automatically updating table of contents. These things are really, really handy when you're building large documents, or even if you're not, they're just very handy to do. So we will go to References, over to the Table of Contents section. We will go to Table of Contents, and we will choose Automatic Table number 2. And it will yell at us right there. It's going to tell us that we need to start putting in style headings first in order for it to be a table of contents. That's okay. The nice thing about this table of contents is that we can update it, so that's what we'll do as we go. So just go ahead here and click OK. And if you would for me, please go back to the Home tab, and we're going to choose Heading 1 in our Styles section. So I want to make very clear that headings and headers are two different things, and we will do both in this document, but I want you to make sure that you're not, confusing the two or conflating the two. So that's what I want you to know: headings and headers. So right away, we're going to type in here corporate officers. And we'll hit enter twice, because I typically like to leave a little space between my headings and my text. That's just a preference thing. You don't have to do that. I just like that. So we're going to put in a series of offices. So I'm just going to put those in here right now. Okay, there they are. So next thing I'm going to do is highlight this whole section of text here. And I'm going to click in the bottom part of the ruler. I'm going to double click there. And so we should see a tab stop box come up. So we're going to put in tab stops now. So what a tab stop is, when you hit tab on the keyboard, it will move the insertion point, our little flashing line, over 1/2 inch. That's what this default tab stops mean. But we can set it to go to different places along the same line when we hit tab whenever we choose, and have it be consistent. So that's what we're going to do. One thing of note: do not ever change this. If you were to change that and you start hitting tab, it could get really wonky very quickly, and you may not remember what you did there. So just leave that box alone. So I want to put in here 6.5, which means we're going to go over 6.5 inches, which should be right to the edge of our margin. We're going to click on a right tab stop, and we're going to choose leader characters number 4. So now when we hit tab, dashes will pop up, and it'll be a nice clean look. So we're going ahead and hit set. So now that you see that down here, that means that it's set. We'll hit OK. And so now when we go to the top line, I'm going to hit tab, and we see that line pop up. And I'm going to put my name in there, since if it's going to be a fake company, I'm going to be in charge. And there we go. So a right tab stop means that the text is aligned to the right of where the tab stop is, so it keeps everything moving left of the insertion point. It might sound confusing, but you'll see as we go through here. So go ahead and continue on and put in the tabs, and you can put in your friends. You can put in fake people. Sometimes I like to put in for this project. I'll put in names of favorite Broadway composers. That's entirely up to you. Okay, and there are our names. So let's go right here to the table of contents. We're going to click on right in the middle where it says contents, and we see a little box pop up. We're going to hit update table, and there we go. So now, not only do we see our heading over here in the navigation pane, and you'll always see that when you apply style headings, but now in our contents we see this pop up with the page number, and as we go through the project we'll go back, we'll update the table of contents, and it will constantly build it for us, which is pretty handy. So since we're talking about headings and headers, let's go to Insert tab, and let's click on Header, and let's add a header. We are just going to choose Edit Header because frankly, while these are pretty fancy, I feel like sometimes they get in the way a little bit and they don't give me a lot of options. But as you can see, they are kind of fancy. So in your project, if you choose to use one, you are more than welcome to do so. Again, that's a preference thing for me. So we're going to click on Edit Header, and we're going to put in pretty much the same title we have for our cover page. Okay. So once you're in here, we're going to go ahead and click on Close, and now that will be on every page that we have as a header. Okay, so after our last person, our last corporate officer, we'll hit Enter, and we'll choose heading 1 again. And then this time, we're going to put in Overview, and we'll hit Enter twice. There we are. So now this is a point where you get to put in a little paragraph about what your fake company is about. I'll go ahead and put mine in here. Okay, there it is. Make sure that after you hit Enter twice from Overview, you're set back to the normal style and you're not stuck on heading 1 because you might get that just like it looks. So make sure you're clicked on normal. So I made up some products here. I made up some information. I used my hometown because I like to do that kind of thing. So that's kind of fun. So you can do anything you want for yours. We're now going to add a picture. So I want you to click on the end of your first line, and we're going to, we're going to insert a picture. So if you're doing the example with me, there's a picture on Dropbox called tortilla chips. If you're doing your own project, if you're doing your homework project, you can use any school appropriate picture that would fit your project. Again, I want to stress it needs to be school appropriate. So to do that, if it's already saved, you want to make sure that it's already saved to your desktop or to your computer somewhere. So the Insert tab, Pictures, and then mine is saved on my desktop. So desktop it is. There's tortilla chips. There it goes. Now it's huge, right? It's huge. We don't want it to be that big. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to resize it. So let's kind of pull it down a little bit more. About like that's good. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this button here for layout options, or we can go to what's called a contextual tab. And the contextual tabs only show up based in a context. So in this case, the picture tool shows up when there's a picture. So we'll click on Format. This button in here is the layout button, so we can do the same thing here on this section in the Arrange section. So we're going to choose, we'll choose, let's see here. We'll go with Inline with Text. That's fine. We're going to click on Position in the Arrange section, so we're going to kind of move it to here, and then we'll manually drag it up so it fits right in there, and we'll resize it so it's just about the size of our paragraph. Now something else you can do with Word that I like a lot is that you can remove a background from a picture. So while this background isn't all that offensive because it's just a white background on a white text, when you deselect it, you can kind of see a textured gray lighting effect, which is nice for the picture, but it looks kind of weird slapped onto our document. So I'm going to select our picture. In the Picture Tools Format Contextual tab, in the Adjust section, I'm going to click on Remove Background, and Word will guess what you want to remove. Everything in the purple is what you're going to remove, and we want more than that. So you should see some anchors here to pull. We're going to pull it down the length of the image here. You can do the same on yours. If you're not doing the example with me, you're doing your own project, you can use your own judgment in terms of what looks good. But we want to see this purple all the way around. The purple, again, is what will be taken off. But now let's say that your picture doesn't look as nice as this one does, and you want to remove some more things. You go over here to mark areas to remove, and you kind of draw in lines to take out what you want to take out. Now I will mention that this is not Photoshop. You can do some things with it, but if this is the best you have at the time, it could take a little bit. As you see, I'm working real hard around that corner there. I can do this here. Can take more of that out there. Now that might look good, so we're going to click on Keep Changes. But you see how ragged that edge is? That's just something you have to consider when you're going to edit a picture in Word. I do it all the time. I highly recommend that you try it out, but I just want you to know that there are some trade-offs and it may not look as crisp as you want. So for example, we're going to hit Control Z. I'm going to take all these areas out. So I want to, if there's some area in purple I want to keep, I'll just draw in from mark areas to keep, sections I want to keep, and you'll start to see that my picture is coming back the way that it was before. So I took a little bit of time, I just kind of undid this real quick, and we got back to where we are. We definitely want that background to go away, so we'll click on Keep Changes, and now that background's gone. When you deselect the image, you just see the tortilla chips. That to me looks really nice, really crisp, and very professional. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is you're going to hit Enter after Overview, and we're going to go back to Heading 1, and we're going to type in Expansion Goals. I really am a terrible typist. Okay, and we'll hit Enter twice, and now we're going to put in a bulleted list. So in the paragraph section here on the Home tab, we're going to click on Bulleted List, and one just pops up there for us. So I will type in here our first expansion goal. Addition of 2 new products to the line. You can put in your own goal if you choose. We'll hit Enter. A new bullet will pop up. Now if you want to have a sub-bullet, if you want to have more of an outline view, you can hit Tab and it will put it right there. But let's say you hit Tab by accident. You can undo that position move by hitting Enter, and it will come back up, provided you haven't typed anything in. If you do type things in, so let's say I want to put this in here and I decided I don't want that, I can go here, I can go to the paragraph arrow here, go down to change list level, and I can promote it to where it is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a few more goals here, and there they are. So far we're looking pretty good. Alright, let's scroll up to our table of contents and give that an update. And you'll get a little dialog box that will pop up and ask you if you want to do the whole table or just the page numbers only. I almost always choose the update entire table. The only time you would choose the page numbers is if you have your table of contents set and you're just adding sections to things. You can just update the page numbers. But since we're adding new content, we'll hit update entire table and then OK. And that's just what we want to see. Now, a point of reference, I chose this little leader character set here for corporate officers, so it didn't look like the same. But if you chose number 2 in the tab stops, this could look the same between these two lists. Again, it's a preference thing. When you're doing your homework assignment, you can choose any one you want. That's entirely up to you. Alright, so after expansion goals, we're going to hit Enter twice, actually 3 times to give us some space there. I lied, just twice. And we're going to choose Heading 1. I'm going to type in Projection and hit Enter. Right underneath that, we're going to hit Heading 2 and do a second heading here, which will say Units per Month dash 4 month preview. I'm sorry, projection. Wonderful. Okay, and hit Enter twice. Now, we're going to insert a table. So please go to the Insert tab, Tables group, and then we're going to choose Table button. So you have options here. You can just insert a table, and it will do that. You can draw the table in right there. If you hit Insert Table, it will give you a dialog box. You can type in however many rows and columns you want, or you can just kind of draw it in here on the grid. We're going with a 5x7 table. So that is 5 columns by 7 rows, and just click there and that will punch it in for us. Looks pretty drab right now, but we're gonna fancy it up here. We're going to put months across our row here. So in the second cell, we will put in May. And then if you hit tab, it'll move you over to the next cell. June, tab, July, tab, and August. So when we talk about cells in Excel, tab will move you right one cell. If you hit enter, it will move you down one cell. But unfortunately, when you have tables in Word, when you hit enter, it just makes a cell bigger. That's how that is. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some of the products that I want in my fake company here. Okay, and then here is my table. So now you see that the table is split over 2 pages. We want to try to avoid that whenever we can. So we're going to put in, I'd say right here, if you put your insertion point right in front of projection, we're going to put in a page break. So I want you to go to Layout, Page Setup Group, and then choose Breaks, and then Page Break. And it will move everything down now to the next page. Page breaks are also available in the Insert tab in the Pages section, but that's the only break that's available. If you go to Layout, Breaks, you get all the breaks. Okay. So we want to add some more to our table yet. We have to add in our new products. That's part of our expansion goal. Since we only have one maybe empty row, maybe you don't have one, but if you do, great. We need to add one more. Actually, we need a few more here. So you'll see a little line here, so you can add in a new row. And then, so there you go. Or you can go to the contextual tabs up here, and we will go to Layout, and we will click on Insert Below, so that will insert a row right below where your insertion point is. And there we are. So I'm going to put in my new product lines here. Okay, there are my new products, and in that last row, we're going to just type in total, and there we have it. Okay, so now we need some numbers in these projections. You are free to make up your own numbers if you're doing the exercise with me, or when you're building this exact spreadsheet. I'll put in some numbers here for you to copy over. Otherwise, I definitely want you to use different numbers for your table. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in right about now. Okay, and here are my numbers. As a preference thing, I tend to like to center numbers like this in a table, so I'll just highlight the whole range there and click center in the paragraph section. You don't have to do that. Like I said, that's just a preference thing that I like to do. Okay, so now we're going to total up here our numbers, and instead of doing this by hand or via a calculator, Excel will do it for us. So in the Table Tools Layout Contextual tab, we'll go to the Data section, we'll click on Formula, and it's guessing we want to add, and boy do we ever. So we don't have to do anything with this text box except hit OK. And so we'll do that, and again, it's a preference thing. I'll center that. You are not required to do so, and I'll do that for the rest of the cells here. Alright, and there we are. I think this is a really nice feature that Word gives us, that we can just do all these calculations automatically through the computer and not have to do that ourselves. Because if you're anything like me, numbers are hard. Alright, so the last thing we want to do is to make this look pretty. So let's make this look pretty. If we go to the Design tab and our contextual tabs here, let's go down and choose a nice one. Let's have one that accents our top ones there. Yeah, this blue one looks pretty good. Do I like this one? This one? No, let's go with the blue one. You can choose any one you want. This is just the one I'm choosing to go with. And there we are. Okay, next we're going to add some smart art, which is kind of fun. So we're going to choose heading 1 again. We're going to type in product pipeline, and we're going to hit enter twice. We're going to go to the Insert tab. We're going to go to where it says Smart Art, and we're going to choose Process and the circly one. I happen to like the circly one. I think it's easy to read. Okay, so there we are. I'll make sure we have our navigation page checked. I think I checked that earlier. And here we go. So we have text boxes here that we can fill in, and I'm going to go ahead and fill those in right now. Okay, and there we are. Now, one difference is on your screen, you may see a little pane right here, a little window that has the bullets here for you to fill in text in that window too. That's a preference thing. I tend to check that off because I think it clutters the screen, but if you like it, feel free to use it. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add shapes to our smart art. So we're going to add a shape here. So we're going to go to Design in our Contextual tab. We will go see if we can click on the text pane right there. I like to keep mine closed. We're going to click on Add Shape, and we're going to demote. I'm sorry, we're going to keep the shape like it is. So we have a big one here. If it came up as small like that, we would hit Promote, and there it goes big. And so in this text box, we're going to type in Marketing and Distribution. And we're going to add one more shape. Now it adds the same kind of shape that we just had. So in this case, we are going to want to demote it down to a small one. And for this one, we're going to type in Ad Campaign. All right, and there we go. Okay, we click outside of our smart art, and there we have it. If you want to change it up in terms of what colors you have here or styles, you can go ahead and use the smart art styles or the change colors. That's entirely up to you. So once you click outside and hit enter, we're going to have one more section, but we're going to move this down a page. So let's click on Insert, and let's go to Page Break. That's only if on your screen it's about to be on a second page. If it's not, then you're going to be okay. So now that we're on our second page, what I want us to do is go to, let's see here, Layout, Breaks, and I want you to choose a continuous section break. We're going to add in a new section, and now I want you to click on Columns and 2. We're going to split this into 2 sections. Now what's interesting about this is if you click back up on our smart art, that is all one column. This is now 2. If we go home to show hide, we should be able to see the section break is actually pushed back up here, but right there it is. That's what we want to see. If it's on your second page, that's okay too. So choosing heading 1, we're going to type in potential problems and solutions. We're going to hit enter once, and let's actually hit enter twice. Okay, so let's go back to normal here. In bold, we're going to put in problems. So you can do Control B on the keyboard, or you can go right up here to the font grouping and do that. So we'll type in problems. We'll hit enter. Make sure you turn bold off with either Control B or clicking the B again here. And we're going to type in some potential problems we could have. Okay, and next we're going to put in a column break. So we'll go back to Layout tab, back to Breaks. We go all the way down here to Column Break. That will push us up to the next column. We're going to hit enter a few times so we're in line with problems, and again bold, we'll type in solutions. Might be a little off here. If you're a little off, that's okay. If it was me, I would spend hours getting that right, but for us it's okay. And we're going to put in some potential solutions here as well. And there we are. That's the last thing we're going to add. So go up, update our table of contents. You should see everything show up there, including the page numbers. And our project here is finished. Please check the actual project to make sure you have everything set in there. If you are following along doing the project with the video, congratulations, you're finished. If you were doing the example, now you know what to do for the homework problem. All right, thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you.